Bonjour, my name is Raymond Espuche. I am one of the instructors here at Chez Francis, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to do a pâte à choux, which is a choux dough, which is I think a very versatile recipe, and it's great to know because you can do savory dishes or sweet dishes. Most of the time it's used to do sweet, such as cream puff or éclair, or Paris-Brest, Saint-Honoré, and even the traditional croque-en-bouche wedding cake that we serve at a wedding in France. And today we're going to do a savory dish, which is Gougères. So Gougères is basically a cheese puff. It's a specialty from Burgundy. This is where I'm from. It's a very easy recipe, easy to do, anybody can do it, and the results are great. So to do this recipe, I will start with 4 ounces of water and 4 ounces of milk. 100 grams, so this is basically 12.5 centiliters and 12.5 centiliters of milk and water. 100 grams of butter. I have 150 grams of all-purpose flour and 50 grams of Gruyere cheese, a little salt, and then I will introduce the eggs later on. So we're going to start with heating milk and water. Then I'm going to cut up my butter this way, this way. Oh, I forgot, the first thing I did before starting this recipe is to wash my hands. So my hands are clean. So I cut it into little cubes so that it melts better. And then I will put that in my milk. And salt. So once the butter is melted, I'm going to add the flour all at once. So it's going to make like a very rough dough, but as it cooks, it will come together. I think we are there. Now I take my flour and I mix it. So as you see, it makes like a very rough dough. So now the idea is to dry the base. In other words, is to remove as much moisture as possible, because it will help cook the choux and make a very crunchy and crusty outside. So I'm drying the dough. So you know when the dough is dry enough, when there is a very thin film on the bottom of the pan. However, considering that this is a non-stick pan, I don't know if it's going to form a film. Probably not. But I can tell that now the dough is pretty much dry. So it'll just take a few minutes. I'm going to turn that off. So this is hot and we want to cool it off. So I'm going to change recipient and I'm going to let it steam out. See all the steam coming out? So that's going to cool it off a bit. because I don't want to make an omelette once I incorporate the eggs. So the dough has to cool off a bit. And usually when I bake, I don't use refrigerated eggs. You know, I use room temperature eggs. But in this case, I want the dough to chill quickly. So I'm going to use refrigerated eggs for this. Still hot. Now I'm going to add my cheese. That's good. So it's still a little warm, but much less than before. So now the idea is to incorporate the eggs one by one. So the dough will break, and then it will come back together. It's breaking. It has the dough incorporate the eggs, it's going to come back together. So I'm using 4 eggs for that. I think now we are pretty much where we want to be. Here we go. Here my dough, my pâte à choux. So then all we need to do is use a pastry bag. Use a tip. So the tip is like this, number 809. So what I do, I put my left hand, because I'm right-handed, underneath the bag, fold it over, and then I can fill it up. Then twist it like this. Okay. See, my hand is like this. And then it goes straight up. And I tilt it to the side. Or I could just go straight up like this too. So I set up my oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 180 degrees Celsius. I'm going to use an egg, make an egg wash. So an egg with a little water. Mix that up. Then I'm gonna smooth out my choux. The egg wash and this. So you can make different size of choux, big ones, small ones. If you're gonna do some hors d'oeuvres with maybe some foie gras mousse inside or smoked salmon, you want to make them smaller. So this Gougères cheese puff is served usually before at the aperitif, so it's either before lunch or dinner with a glass of wine, preferably a glass of Chablis. Here we go. And then I'm going to use some Gruyere cheese with a microblade. Just put some little bit on it. And this is going to go into the oven for 25 minutes at 350. There we go. See you in 25 minutes. So the idea is to have something crunchy on the outside and really soft on the inside. So if I open one up, but it's still very hot, this is what you get. Something with alveole, like bubbles, air bubbles on it. This with a glass of Chablis. Oof, delicious. Delicious. And if ever they are cold, I recommend to just put them back in the oven for a few minutes to refresh them, and they're good to go. And voila my recipe. Bon appétit, and I hope to see you soon.